Oh boy. Oh, Jesus. I need a haircut very badly. All right, is the mic on? Is the mic on? I think the mic's on. Make sure it is on. All right, mic is on. Got my angle right. Angle's right. Let's see. Fix this like that. There we go. All right, what's up, guys? It's your boy DKG72. I know what you're thinking. This was supposed to go up last Friday, but it didn't. And the reason why is because, well, things happen. But we got it up now, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the Foresight Podcast. It's our interview with the beautiful and amazing Miss Porscha Outen. It was an amazing interview. It was produced by DJ Nooney, St. Louis finest, 24 Scientists, all that good stuff. I hope you guys really like it. Hit me in the comments. Let me know what you think. More podcasts will be posting every Friday moving forward. So every Friday, we'll be posting the video version of the podcast. Other than that, I think it's time to get to the intro right about now. All out on the floor right now. Oh shit! ISO.
That could be.
Sorry, Nene.
Oh no, you good.
No.
I just be passionate about it, you know.
Oh, you good.
That's what we want. We want passionate people on the scene.
Once dummy over here upload this SIM card. I'm just doing too much.
Okay. Just let us know when you're ready to go.
Don't worry, but we're live though.
Oh, we're live.
We're live.
You got all that good exchange?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You was in there doing it. All right.
I didn't even know.
Okay.
You just bodied the secret taping. All right.
Wow.
All right. So,
All right.
we're off.
Okay, count me down real quick so I can go ahead and give a proper intro there, brother.
It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? My name is David Gordon, aka D. You guys liked us enough that we were able to come back for a second podcast. And no, I'm joking, but we're gonna do a little house cleaning real quick. First and foremost, I would like to thank everybody that listened to the very first episode. Got a really good response, a lot of good comments. So thank you guys for that. Want to give a big shout out to my first guest, who is also the producer of his podcast, Lamar Harris, DJ Nooney. Thank you, brother, for doing your thing. He just gave me the peace sign. And what we're going to do is we're going to get started real quick. And just to let you guys know what this podcast is about, is we really get into how people that are creative, how these creative people really do the things that they do. How do they come up with these ideas, and how do they execute them, and how do they find the wherewithal to do that? Sorry about that. And to that end, some of the most creative people in the world are they may not be painters or artists or sculptors or musicians or anything like that, but they're entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs serve a big purpose in the community, in our community especially, because they address problems that maybe we may not have seen, or we've seen and just don't know how to figure out. And a lot of times entrepreneurs have to be, they have to pivot on the fly. They have to make things happen. And this entrepreneur right here, this young lady has been building her name for the past few years in St. Louis. Hard worker. I met her when I was first promoting my book, Call Me I Turn, The Man With No Name, and she basically told me, you're doing it wrong, I can do it better. To which I was like, well, okay. Then she said, we're going to do it, and you're going to pay this amount of money, and you're going to be happy. To which I was like, that's a lot of money. She's like, don't worry. And I was like, okay. And then we had the event. The event went great, and I ended up on television twice thanks to her. We gave her a shout out in the first podcast. If you didn't hear that one, you should. It was nice. And we want to give her more of a platform here on this podcast as our guest. So I would like everybody to welcome to the Foresight Podcast, Porscha.
Well, first, thank you so much for having me. This is a wonderful space. I said that when I first got here. I really enjoyed it when I walked in. It was a nice little, vibe. I really appreciate that. I'm all into creative vibes and spaces that I'm allowed to thrive and completely be myself. And I felt that from the moment I walked in. So I wanted to publicly say thank you so much for being so warm and welcoming and inviting. So to introduce myself, I am Porscha Outen. I started in the event management business 10 years ago. I run Innovations of Excellence now, which is an event management, PR, and strategy firm. We are women owned and women led. I am the CEO, and I'm looking to go ahead and make some more hires. So I'm very excited about that process.
Expansion.
I know expansion is really good, primarily operating in St. Louis, but have expanded to Dallas and also to Atlanta, which I'm very, very excited about that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about your Dallas connection in a minute. She left us.
I know, right? I know. But that's happening. The expansion in St. Louis, the ladies are moving. We're expanding our territory. I'm very excited about that.
No, that's actually a wonderful thing. It's a big thing. I just read an article the other day. Actually, I've seen it and I've kind of been promoting it on my Facebook. So it wasn't just the other day. That's a lie. I've seen it for a while. St. Louis is becoming a tech hub in this country, which is really wild. The native St. Louisans, but two, and more importantly, this is the big two. It is Black women that are leading the way, and with you being over 10 years in the game now, you are at the ground floor of when this all began. How did you even see that coming?
So you know how you have this inherent thing on the inside that says you're not doing enough. It's just something that is pulling you. The environment you notice is shifting. And so for me, I realized that entrepreneurship, even 10 years ago in the St. Louis market, it was coming to fruition. There were a lot of up and coming event planners, not very many of them African American. There was still this atmosphere that was bristling. In St. Louis, we have been steadily moving forward in the creative space and in the entrepreneur space. And so it was necessary for me to latch on to that, mainly because I was wanting to create a legacy, wanting to create something for my children, something for my family, something for my family to be proud of. I wanted the people that were closest to me to be proud of me. And for me, that didn't look like a traditional model. It wasn't the, come out of high school, go to college, get a traditional degree, and then work in corporate for, 10 years. So for me, I tried it though. I did. I came out of high school, went to college, did the whole thing. And it didn't resonate with me in the way that lended me. At that point, I felt like I needed to be an entrepreneur. Like I was not comfortable sitting in an office space, taking direction from other people, and helping them build their businesses. For me, I was doing a lot, working for someone else that I felt like, I could probably do this for myself and I could probably make a lot of money. And so I just kind of launched out and I said, I'm going to go for it. I don't know what it is, but I'm definitely going to try something. And I think that's the biggest thing with people is that that you have something, but you're afraid to try. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to, and I don't even know if this is the question that you asked me, but you don't have to have it all figured out. You do not have to have this grand plan. Really, you just need to have an idea and a whole lot of faith. And you really just need to take that first step and keep it moving. But to your question, St. Louis has been bristling for well over 10 years. And now we're in 2020. And of course, the landscape looks completely different now.
Completely.
I mean, stuff is just not the same. But I will say the ones that laid that foundation and the ones that went for it, we're really kind of reaping the benefits of what all of that hard working, in person and still a little bit of virtual, but it's still not the same thing as being able to come together, and be, with people. And like I was saying before at the beginning at the top of the podcast, when I came in here, it was such a warm environment. Right. That's the basis of event management. You want to create spaces where people feel safe and that they can, be with their people and enjoy themselves. And for me, I'm on the nonprofit side. So essentially, corporations want to raise money for their causes, or they want to give back in some sort of way. And the best way to do that is in person. But anyhow, lost a ton of money and needed to figure out, how do I self-sustain? What am I supposed to do when my book of business is, pretty much gone? Wow.
So before we get to the now, let's go back into your past a little bit. When you decided to become an entrepreneur, you decided to do event management. How did that come about? What was it about event management that you said, okay, this is where I'm going to go? Because to be honest, just from my observation, you're a handful, but you run a super tight ship.
Yeah.
And you bring out, when you do an event. So what brought you to, okay, this is how I'm going to make my mark in the world to begin with?
Yeah, I think you said it. I'm a handful. I think that's what it is. I had a terrible experience when I got married. That was horrible for me. I paid money to an event planning company and did not get anything I wanted.
Wow.
I literally walked into my reception space and cried. I was not happy at all. And so from there, I said, I don't want anybody else to feel this way. That was a terrible feeling. So I started out in wedding planning, and I think it was my sense of wanting to really control that environment and be able to have a space where I can be as creative as possible, but also have people feel good. That was something really important to me. And like you said, yes, you do. I do kind of run a tight ship. However, and it's really only because I know that the client deserves it, right? Like the client should not have to worry about specific things. They should know that their event is going to go over well. So for me, that's really what it was. I had a bad experience, and I turned my bad experience into service. I decided to serve other people so that they wouldn't feel the way that I felt. So I guess to answer your question, pretty much every entrepreneur has a space where they're like, what can I provide? What service, what is it that I'm giving to the earth? What is it I'm giving to people? And so for me, it was just a dedication to excellence. So my very first business was Excellence Events. And that's where that came from, and just my dedication to making sure that people were served in a capacity that they were paying for, and that they were getting out of it what they put into it.
You're an incredibly detail-oriented person.
Yeah.
How does that play into you being able to do events, and then even with your pivot into PR?
Yeah. So details for me, that is what pays my bills, quite honestly. Details, I couldn't do what I do without loving the details. It's important for me to learn my client. It's important for me to take every nuance and every detail and translate that. And even pivoting that into PR, that's storytelling. So for me, I have to be very aware of what the client wants, what story are they telling, and how can I communicate that more effectively. So it became a transitional process. So I started with the wedding plan, quickly got burnt out on that. And then when I transitioned into corporate and nonprofit events, that is what segued me into PR, because my corporate clients were wanting eyes on their event. It wasn't enough for people to just come out. They wanted other people to know what was going on. So then I said, well, why not? Let's just do a whole bunch of red carpet events. And then I became known for these particular red carpet events where we would do, large functions and we would just invite the media out. So just like those media walls that you see, at a lot of those larger events, and the press is lined up and then folks just kind of come down, and that was a vibe. Like we recreated that. And for me, I wanted to make sure that the was again getting everything that they put into it, and that's where those details came in.
So, personal disclosure, when I was working with you, I was unaware of what to expect, to be honest. And I remember I got a call from you. I was at my day job. Get a call from you, and you say, "Hey, are you going to be busy on this day?" I'm like, "I guess no. I need you to show up at the radio, at the TV station. You're going to be on the morning show." I look, what? Yeah, you're going to be on the morning show.
Yeah.
I'm like, but how? She said, "Don't ask how." So right here, my manhood was trying to kick in a little bit, because it's kind of one of those moments where you put your finger up to somebody's mouth and you shush them. I'm like, "Don't ask how." I'm like, wait, hold on. I have to ask how now.
Don't do that. So I am very well known for that. I do this to my clients all the time. I enjoy it.
You enjoy it?
I really do. I enjoy it. I love those calls where, folks think there's nothing brewing. Like, 'cause I do that all the time, and I think I'm giving away all my secrets to my clients. Like, I get real quiet when I'm working on stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm like, "Hey, you want to go do this, this, and this?" And they're like, "Wait, what?" So you had pretty much that same experience. But I enjoy that though.
No. It was
fun.
Great. It was great. It was fun.
You showed up and you did a wonderful job, even though you had no idea what to expect.
I had no idea what to expect.
People ask me, I was like, "Porscha, why is it that when I go on your website, it's very vague?" Like, it's
well, that's a good question. Why is it so vague?
It's vague because I like that. Like, I like that element of surprise with folks not quite knowing what to expect. I mean, of course, we get the outline, this is what I do, right? But I try not to give too much information because every client's different and I don't know exactly what they need from me. And I always want to make sure that there's an element of like, now that I'm thinking about it, you said I was a handful. And as I'm speaking, it's kind of like, you're right. I am.
That's a handful.
That is a handful. That's a handful. Yes. But so if that were the case,
it's a good it's a good handful, isn't it?
Okay. Clarify.
It's a handful because one of the things that I also learned through that process is that you're not just going to just throw us out to the wolves. You're there the whole time.
Yeah.
Printing, prepping. Hey, you got this. You got this. Make sure you got this. You have a list. So the details were down pat. You had us doing everything. Excuse my neighbors above us.
They sound like they're having a great time.
Yeah, they bring the kids all the time. But by handful, I definitely mean that you're so on it that if you're kind of like focused on what you're doing, all of a sudden you're like, "Oh wow, that's not." I'm not used to anybody else being that.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that a lot. But again, I like that. There's something about that, all of the details coming together, all the pieces coming together and exceeding the client's expectation. Just even whether it's local or national campaigns, it doesn't make a difference to me. Like, I love seeing the look of elation on my client's face when they see the totality of everything that we're putting together.
Where does that come from?
What?
That ability to lock in, be so detail oriented, and just you cover the whole spectrum.
Well, I can say that there are not a lot of women or firms in the area that do what I do. So for me, I do the planning, the event management, the strategy. We come up with everything from start to finish. Like you said, I'm there from beginning to end. We launched the PR campaign, so we work with the media, making sure that your story is being told in the correct way. And then, we do a whole bunch of pre-stuff, but then when we get to the event, we're day of at the event as well, getting everything situated, make sure the event's going well. And then we have the media coverage on top of like all of those things. And then after that, we're doing a post run.
Right.
So we're still kind of storytelling. And I didn't answer your question. So to answer the question, I guess I think it's just inherently who I am. Like I have this need to see all the pieces come together in a way that makes sense in my brain.
Were you that kid that like organized their toy chest?
I'm very, very OCD.
There we go. We got it. That was the one.
Very much so. Everything has to have its place. I think that's why I enjoy your wall so much over there with all of the cans and the stuff just nicely organized in that, and it makes me feel good. Having things like in its little spot. Yeah. So if you're listening and you suffer with a tad bit of OCD, you just might be an event planner and you don't know. You just might have an event management company under your belt and you just don't know it yet. I mean, yes, that's what it is.
And the funny thing about it is, it's interesting because I'm more OCD when it comes to like my art as far as what I want, but for pretty much everything else, I'm a very free flyer, so to speak. I'm just kind of very laid back. So when I'm encountering people that are OCD in their job, and then you see somebody that gets an absolute joy out of what they're doing, it's like, okay.
But that's why. So most of my clients are creatives. Most of them.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like they're creative in some sort of way. They can do what they do well, but then they don't have anyone to do everything else well. And that's usually where I come in. So it's not, for me, it's not just the event management. It's not just the PR. It is the encouragement. It is the support. It is the strategy. It is, being there every single step of the way, making sure that projects are coming to fruition completely in a total type of way. And yes, that does inherently come back to me just wanting everything to be, nicely polished and put together. And for those things to be done, again, with a spirit of excellence. Like I just like for things to be done well.
So we've got 10 years of event management, wedding planning, corporate events, and looks like you're going into 2020 full steam ahead. The world is about to just feel the wrath of Porscha, and things go good the first couple of months, and March hits.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
That was hell, quite honestly. That really tested my faith in God. And a lot of people know I use that hashtag God's girl all the time. And there were some days I was like, I don't even want to use that hashtag. I don't, because I felt like, just those moments of, am I really God's girl? Like, did I make a mistake being an entrepreneur? Like, everything it felt like the world everything just imploded. And especially for me, being someone who's so used to things being like, was not prepared for that at all. And to have my entire book of business closed down and and it wasn't just me. I mean, the event management space, period. Everyone that was a vendor, our DJs, our photographers, everyone so as an event manager, you pull in all of these people. So we were not only feeling the effects for us, we were feeling it for all the others that we worked with, the decor companies, the lighting companies, the florists, all of the people that come together to make an event what it is. Everybody felt it. And so it was just really like, honey, listen.
Wow.
That was and we're just now slowly getting back out there and trying to make some things go. But yes, it was tough.
I think March and April probably were some of the toughest months.
Yeah.
All of us had to face. I know March basically ended my day job, and and I had other things on the table, but still that was a tough pill to swallow, and things just didn't, were kind of up and down from there. So
But once you found your groove, like once you figured it out, there was a moment in there where I said, Porscha, listen, either you're gonna fold or you're gonna pivot.
So let's talk about that moment, because that's a crucial moment for any entrepreneur, because you're going to get tested.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you got tested in the worst possible way.
Yeah.
What was that moment like when you just were like, look, I need to go in a different direction if I'm going to make it? What was that moment like, and what was that thought process like?
So that moment for me, when I decided to pivot, prior to the decision, I felt an immense amount of overload and stress and uncertainty. And then I think every human goes through this period where you feel out of control and you don't know which way is up. And you turn on the news and the news is telling you that the world is blowing up, basically. And then you look at your finances and you realize, okay, I'm blowing through my savings. I'm cashing out my stocks. I'm doing what I need to do to survive. And then that nest, of protection that you had is, slowly, at least for me in my experience, it was slowly dwindling away. Those monthly expenses were adding up and there was nothing coming in. So at that point I said, you know what? Either I'm going to lay down and I'm just going to get a job, like a regular job, like a 9-to-5 grocery job. And not gonna lie, I applied. I did. I went out there and said, I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to, swallow my pride. I'm going to do what I need to do to pay these bills. And then just not fulfilled, even in that, like going and saying, okay, I'm going to do what I need to do to survive, did not fulfill that thing on the inside of me that knew that I could do more. So I said, well, now what? I hit a brick wall, basically. Like I just ran into a wall of reality, which was continue to pursue my business or do what I need to do to pay my bills. At some point in time within that, those two things, those two worlds collided. So they began to be the same thing. Meaning do what you have to do to pay your bills didn't equate to go find a job. What that equated to was, how do I pivot my business? What do people need now? And for me, what that meant, because I didn't have any events, people needed stories. That was the back end for me. I went to school for journalism. I had always been in love with writing and storytelling. So I went back to the drawing board and I said, okay, if I can't do necessarily what I'm skilled at, what else do I have in my arsenal right now that people may or may not know about? And so I actually pivoted on the back end. I started contacting all my media contacts first.
Oh, did you? Okay. Let's talk about that. So you go to the media guys, all of you guys that are in media. What are you telling them?
What do you guys need? So anytime that you're in a space where there's uncertainty, the very first thing you should do is figure out how you can serve. What is it that you can do to make things better? Okay. So for me, the only semblance of servitude that I had, since I didn't have events anymore, was supplying my journalists with stories. That's all I had. So I would reach out to them and I would say, hey, what are you guys working on? What kind of stories do you need? What is it that I can do to help you do your job? And immediately, like the floodgates were open. They were like, we need this, we need this, we need this. Oh my gosh, if you could connect us with this, and this. And I said, you know what? I sure can. And so from that back ended to full on PR.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And one of the clients that you started working with, we have a mutual relationship.
No, I didn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, she left us.
She did. Yeah.
So, a while ago, I coined the term that you two were Thelma and Louise in the most loving way possible.
Yeah.
because just saw you guys really doing a lot of things, and when everything was really looking its weakest, and this to be honest, your client's company was one company I was really worried about, just because we're in the ship. If you don't know, when you're in this entrepreneurial space, because this town is so small, we're in a shared community.
Yeah.
And my worries and fears, as much as they were for me personally, because we were all in the same position.
Yeah, we were.
I was worried about all of us as just entrepreneurs and creators, because knowing that I had lost a lot of hope myself, because I would think, oh, it's going to be this, and it went so far the other route. Oh my God.
It did, didn't it?
I was knocked up, I didn't know what to do. So then I see you guys, and I knew you had worked with Winnie before, and I think, how did that path?
For me, when I started working with, which is so funny, because when I started working with Books and Bros, that was 2 years ago, and I signed on for their first gala, which was the Excellence in Literacy. The very first thing I told Winnie was, are you sure you want to hire me? Like, that was a real conversation.
Right.
And the reason I asked her that is because I do have the standard of excellence, and sometimes that's not necessarily received well within our community. So I wanted to give her a disclaimer, much like you said when you first met me.
The exact same one.
That was very much so. It's very much a thing. And she said, I only want to work with the best. So from there,
to which I still don't understand why she likes working with me.
Because you're the best. Because you're the best at what you do, and it's not necessarily a thing about being the best human or being the best person. It's just about being the best at what you do, allowing people to operate in their lane and in their craft at the best capacity that they can. So Winnie and I forged this immediate alliance, which was we're going to accept nothing but excellence from each other.
Right.
And so that's kind of where that came from. And we literally just, from that particular first event, we began to build, and Books and Bros is such a phenomenal organization. Sydney is an amazing kid.
He is, really is.
He's phenomenal. And she trusted me when I hadn't necessarily broached this national arena before. I had only been working with local media, right before I teamed up with Books and Bros. But Books and Bros had already been on a national platform. And quite honestly, I wasn't sure that I could even give her, Winnie, what she was asking for. Could I really represent this amazing organization in the way that made the most sense? And so we began to really piggyback off of each other. I knew the event management space like the back of my hand. The PR space was still a gray area for me.
Right.
That was still an area of growth. And she trusted me to be what I said I was going to be. And that was excellent in every area. She never gave me the opportunity to have an excuse for anything. There were certain times, like, I'll never forget when we went to LA. We went to the backlot, right? And we're going, and they're fancy. So they had this what do you call it? Like a bus.
The little golf cart?
No, they're fancy. They had a bus.
They had a bus.
Yes,
Oh, okay, a bus.
They came and picked them up. And Sydney had his own trailer. And so we went into the trailer, and he was getting his makeup done and like the whole.
Was this a Good Morning America, or was this
No, this wasn't. This was for Home and Family when we did I
have a story about
that. Was the Home and Family spot, which was with the Hallmark Channel. And that's what we shot in LA.
So when you guys did that, that's a funny one, because again, when we talk about we're a small community and people are going through their existential crises, the money that I had accumulated and everything was drying up. I'm really considering looking at the landscape, like how am I going to do this? And freelance was really tough. And I'm in the Target lot. I never forget this. I get a text from Wendy, and it's the link to the Hallmark Channel show. So I'm like, okay, what is this? I look at it, and then I'm watching, and then I watch when Sydney passes out the box, and then they open the box, and in the box is Books and Bros t-shirt, Cool Bros read, couple books, and
Kwame Hightower.
And I was just like,
yes.
And I always wanted to tell this story, at least on my platform, because that was a pivotal moment for me, and because I was really considering a lot of different things.
Wow.
I was really going through a lot of different.
Wow.
You're running the numbers at this point. The numbers are running, so the numbers, and the numbers were not looking good for you, boy. So I was like, that's fine. It's a very big sign. So went back, just got back on and just started working.
Good. That's really good.
To be honest, I think when you came in and you're like, hey, this spot is all of this. One of the reasons why this spot is still here is because of you.
Wow.
Because in the May going into June, this wasn't guaranteed.
Wow.
I almost let this go because I was just like, and because of just things like that, I said, no, not gonna let go. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that just watching you guys, and that's why I call you Dumb and Louise, because you guys went gangster.
I mean,
we
hit it hard. Like,
there are road trip pictures.
Yes, we did. I caught Winnie is, we surpassed that client relationship. We really built a friendship, and it really turned into purpose. You know how you find somebody that just gets it, and you don't have to over explain yourself? She really, and I will say this publicly, she allowed me to be who I am. And I don't have to make any apologies for that with her, which is the best working relationship, because we do so much more. When the opportunities come, I'm telling you, there were times where we turn around segments, those national segments, those things are quick. Yeah. They happen so fast, and team no sleep. Like, we literally would just like crank it out and get the content done, or we would fly here and go there, or drive here and go there, and we would just do it, not really knowing what the outcome would be. We knew it was a great opportunity, and of course we wanted to bring in as much of the city as possible. And for me, I think the very first thing that we connected was when we did the Eggs Unsolicited. And I was like, no. She's like, oh, I need a caricature. I said, oh, David.
Yeah,
and that's, yes, of course.
And that was a big event, and I was just like, wow, okay. And I saw the strength of you all's working relationship, and I was just like, okay, they really got something going. So you guys have really been putting on for the city, and and you guys have really, I think at this point, people are seeing what you're doing, and now they can say, hey, you think you're going through it or whatever? Look at her, look at what she's doing. What does that mean to you that it may be people, young Black girls that are looking up to you, anybody, hell, even Black dudes. There are people that are looking at what you're doing like, wow, she's getting it. What does that mean to you?
That's heavy. I will say that people who are looking up to me in any particular capacity, the first thing is to know and understand that my faith leads everything I do. That, for me, is the only thing that makes it make sense.
Okay.
Because nothing makes sense right now.
Man,
There is no true up, like there's no true path forward right now. Nothing looks the way that it looked. So I just encourage people in any capacity, no matter where you are or what you're doing, to really lean into figuring out your measure of faith, because that looks different for everybody. Those young girls, and for me, I have 4 daughters.
right.
So because I have 4 daughters, it's very important for me to have them see me go after my dreams. That, to see another Black woman go after their dreams is extremely, extremely important, because a lot of times we settle, shy away from being all that God has called us to be, typically because we feel like we're unworthy or we've not been loved appropriately, a bunch of, scars and things, or, absent fathers, or, even mothers who are not necessarily where we want them to be. So for me personally, I would say to any African American girl or woman, look to God. Figure out what level of faith you have. You may not have a national level of faith. Maybe you are more focused on the community right where you are.
Right.
Maybe you're only supposed to affect a few blocks versus the world. And if that's the case, that's okay. I realized for myself that,
Really?
yeah, my entire book of business is Black women.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's I don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Fellas.
and it's a thing.
Is it a trust thing? Because you know what? When I took you on, brought you on as somebody that was going to work with me, I have a thing where I implicitly, once I start spending money with you, I implicitly trust you to do what you say you're going to do. Do you think it's a trust factor sometimes?
So I think with men, I'm gonna tread real lightly right here, David.
Keep real.
You trying to get me in trouble now?
I'm not trying to get you in trouble, but
so I will say that it's a thing of wits.
Wits.
It's a wits thing. Sometimes I'm hindered. A lot of times I'm hindered from doing my best work. If I am in the vicinity of a potential client that doesn't allow me to operate in my capacity.
Right.
And that unfortunately is true for a lot of African American men that I've come into encounter with. Now, I can't say for every Black man, of course, but what I will say is, especially in the climate that we're in St. Louis, it's very difficult. We outshine Black women in St. Louis, outshine a lot of African American male in the entrepreneur space. And so because of that hesitancy to trust us with their brands and their business, of course, they are amongst a group of men who implicitly encourage and support Black women. There's like 2 separate groups. You have the group of men who inherently support African American, and no matter what they do, they're going to support them. And then you have the group that doesn't necessarily trust them, and they're, doing it on their own, and they would rather do it on their own. For me, that doesn't translate into a good client relationship.
Yeah. And I'm used to being an army of one, but what I will say is that when working with you allowed me to do more and to expand more and have and see some opportunities. So
well, we know which box you're in. You're definitely one of the ones who support and understand and appreciate Black women.
Well, it's just if we're talking community and we're talking community building. If you guys got the torch and run with it, I'm sorry, I gotta run with the winners. And it's nothing against nobody or anything like that, but we have to understand that the group is the group.
It is. And 2020 is the year of the Black woman. Like
It
2020
really is.
and 2021, like it's, if you didn't have a strong woman by your side, or pushing in that capacity, I mean, you missed it. Like,
Well,
we're
yeah.
killing it right now.
You know, considering like I'm just thinking about it. Like, think about it. I'm sitting in the car, I'm considering all of my options, and a random text comes through out the blue, no warning. And I know this was a you guys' concoction.
Yeah.
So when I see it and then I'm looking at the clip, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Is it? Oh no, they didn't.
Yes, we did.
So, and I will say this, I get those random messages from so many sisters. It's amazing to me. Like, and I think I need the fellas to understand. I'm not going to do a rant this episode of Lamar, but I do need the fellas to understand that y'all not the enemy.
No.
And
we're not.
But I think sometimes, like I said, when you hush me, I was hey, hold on.
I didn't necessarily. It wasn't a push. It was more like a, I got this.
You were like, you don't need to know all of that.
You don't, because you didn't. Because I got this, and I got you, and like
you know what, you did.
And that, but so you obviously, I didn't agree at first, but now that we've had this dialogue, then yes, I could say it is a trust thing, because if me saying, don't worry about it, like I got you, like we're good, you know.
What was it? So no, I went from no appearances to what, three? Yeah,
we did 3.
Yeah, and you took care of it, brother, and then I see what you're doing.
Thank you. And I couldn't do it without support, and so that's the thing. Like you can't do it without support. My team is very supportive. My network is very supportive. My family is very supportive. It takes a lot. Like,
man,
it's a lot. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of team no sleep.
You take care of your customers and your clients in a way that is very impactful. Where did you get that nurturing quality from?
So besides the fact that I have 5 children?
I mean,
well, so, okay, let me be honest. The reason why I am the way I am is because I got dropped a lot. For me, emotionally, I got dropped a lot.
Right.
And so over the years, because I got dropped as a woman so many times, it made me, you know how they say when you lack in an area, you're usually overly compensating in another area.
Okay.
So that's what it is for me.
Well, that's a real crappy way to get to this great point, but I'm just saying.
I mean, you did tell me to keep it real, though.
Yeah, I tell you to keep it real, because you really take care of your clients. And I will say one of your biggest accomplishments is you put on an event at City Hall.
Oh yeah.
What was that like? Because that was massive.
Thank you.
I was supposed to go, but I wasn't able to because I was working. But I was invited. You did invite me.
Well, I did invite you.
Yes, you did.
I did. So that was we did the Shark Tank event for Cedric Cobb at City Hall. And I remember we were shopping around for venues, and Cedric said, you know, I really want to make a statement. I said, well, I want to shut down the city.
Okay.
And so he said, you know what? Yes, let's do that. Let's shut it down. I said, well, there's no better place to do that than City Hall. And so I'd never done an event at City Hall before. Didn't even.
Anybody has.
Well, the mayor's ball.
Well, the mayor's ball.
Yeah, and so I've had my eye on the mayor's ball for years. Like every time I saw the mayor's ball, I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. And so when Cedric gave me the opportunity to be able to pick the venue and how to put things together, I said, well, it's Shark Tank, so we can't go small. Like you literally, and at the time I was under an NDA. By the way, my life is a revolving
NDA.
Like,
Trust me, I know
I
all
feel
about
like
that.
it's revolving. It's always like I'm living like 3 or 6 months ahead of time. Stuff on the books right now that I would love to talk about, but I can't.
Right.
So anyhow, we were going through the Shark Tank event. We knew that he had got the deal, but we couldn't tell anybody that he got the deal.
Right.
And also we couldn't tell anybody who was on the guest list.
Right.
So when he first informed me that Ray Lewis was coming,
Right.
I said, wait, like Ray Lewis, like football Ray Lewis?
Right.
Like, he's like, yes, of course. Like, he's coming. He's one of my business partners. We're going to execute this. And he said, and one of Cedric's favorite phrases is, we're going to do this at the highest level. He says that all the time. It's like everything has to be done at the highest level. And so that was great for me because that was a standard of excellence that I knew that I could achieve. So when we go in and we're talking with them and they say, okay, so how much of City Hall do you want? And we're like, yeah, all of it.
All of it.
Just all of it. And they said, well, we can't give you the entire building. And immediately I go, well, why not?
The secrets.
I mean, because why not? So Cedric trusted me with that entire event from start to finish, and I couldn't have done it without my team. And I always like to shout out Personal Touches by Janetta because Janetta has done every single event as far as my decor since I've started. I've only worked with one other design firm in St. Louis. Personal Touches by Janetta is African American owned, female led. And so for me, that was like partnership, right? So we're just gonna make it happen. We literally decked out City Hall. We did the red carpet. We had A-list celebrities come out. That was the first event, and I'm gonna be completely honest, that was the first event that I actually was concerned about. I've never been concerned. My concern was the security. Because it was, so we had marshals, they were there, which was great.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with so many celebrities, they have their own
fan base.
Yeah.
And some of the people are little.
They are, yeah. And so like when Ray was, when they were coming in the building, because he had Roland Williams and like, I can't even think of all the people, but he had so many football players. There were, the best of St. Louis, of course, was there. And so it was just people coming from all over the place. And I think that was the very first time that I thought, girl.
This might not.
Did you get in over your head? Like, what have I got myself into?
What have I created?
But I'm grateful because everything turned out well. It was flawless. The production was great. The people were satisfied. Everybody was excited because, only the intricate people knew that he got the deal. So when we did the signature song, what's the one, with the guy, win, no matter what.
Right. DJ Khaled.
That's him. Yes. So we played that, of course, after he got the deal. It was amazing. I wish I would have had balloons. That's the one thing I wish, that the balloons would have came out of the ceiling. The ceiling, yeah, I wish I would have did that. So if he does it again and he gets another deal, then we're definitely gonna do the balloons in the ceiling. So that's just one of the, I've done some notable events. Like
I would say.
And people ask me, Porscha, how come you don't really talk about it? And quite honestly, for me, it's because, I just do the work and I like to actually stay behind the scenes, which I was really shocked that I even agreed to come on and do your podcast because I normally
stay behind the scenes. But that's the thing. I don't, with the podcast, I didn't want to work with it. I don't want to just, there's plenty of people that's going to talk to celebrities and those guys.
Yeah. But
it's the guys it's the guys that are the costume designers and the hairdressers, the DJ producers, because you're behind the scenes, you see everything. You see more than just what the art, some of these, the actors, and even even have actors and everything on it, but you see so much.
Yeah, we do.
And I think that's a testament to your work ethic and just you really doing the things that you needed to do.
It's a grind. Yeah, like it really is. I don't think people really truly understand the amount of work that goes into it. Because for me, it's about making sure the client looks good and the client shines.
Well, you definitely do that. So Porscha, how can people that need your PR and when the world opens back up will need your expertise in event management? I guess now you'll be PR plus event management.
Yeah, so I definitely rebranded and added that as a marquee. I was shying away from that for a long time because I've technically been doing it, the PR piece.
You did it for me.
Yeah, what was that, like, how many?
That was last 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then, but I was doing it, of course, with the events, so the nonprofit events and things that I was doing before. So I guess like about I would say 3 going on 4 years now. I've been doing like the hybrid thing. But I just recently became comfortable with calling myself a PR. I was never comfortable with that. I just didn't, I'm not real big on titles. So I wasn't comfortable. But anyhow, now that I am, I rebranded under Innovations of Excellence, and you can find the information at innovationsofexcellence.com. On social media, I'm just at Porscha Outen on Facebook and Instagram. I'm trying to jump into this LinkedIn life.
This LinkedIn life?
I heard that LinkedIn was like the way to go.
It's interesting. It's a little bit of business, a little bit of social, it's a little bit of everything.
I'm trying. And because my thing is, I have such a hard time because I'm always pushing my clients. So it's their stuff that's out all the time, which means I inherently like fall to the back when it comes to putting my stuff out there.
Well, the fun thing about LinkedIn, and I think this will help you out, is that this is you telling your story, so you can kind of be a little bit more selfish on LinkedIn. That's what attracts people to you. So doing things in the short term of bringing people in.
I am doing better. So let me take the opportunity to say that I would love to work with prospective clients. I am booking for Q1 2021. So if you are interested in working with me, you can reach out to me at innovationsofexcellence.com. Currently taking event management projects for 2021 PR campaigns for Q1 and Q2. I don't know yet what 3 and 4 are looking like, but definitely 1 and 2. I am utilizing more of my national connections now, which I'm getting more comfortable with that, and the networks that I'm entering to, getting comfortable with that now, and being able to really go hard for my clients. So
man, that's dope. So everybody, I just want you to know that this is Porscha Outen. She is the lady, the man, whatever you want to say. She's doing it. She's bringing out the best in all of St. Louis. You'll probably see her face around in the near future on my personal YouTube stuff and just doing some things. We're gonna have some business going on, but that's behind the scenes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to say. I want to say thank you for coming out. I appreciate you so much. And guys, I'm going to wrap up the show now, so I just want to say thank you to you guys once again for coming coming out to the podcast, checking us out. If you don't know, we are available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. It's a couple other places. All over the place. So we are available wherever your favorite podcast is available. If you want to reach out and just look for me on Twitter and Instagram at DKG72. I also have a Patreon, which we will have linked in the description of some of these outlets. Also on YouTube. We'll be on YouTube also. So definitely support on the Patreon, and there'll be abilities to support other ways. So guys, I am David Gordon, better known as DKG72. This is the Foresight Podcast, and we will see you next episode.